All right, Uncle Dick, see ya.
See you later.
Thank you,
See ya.
Uncle Dick.
Bye-bye.
Sorry for keeping you up so late.
You're welcome. So long.
All right, see
That's
you, Dick.
okay. Adios.
There we go. This is. Oh, I wish I would have had that view the whole time.
This is the Greg Cote Show with Greg Cote.
Pardon it.
Here's your host, Greg Cote.
Christopher, do you want me to start or do you want to?
Well, you just did, and Dad, I'm very excited. It's a bacon episode, so I made some bacon.
and most of it's already gone by the look of it.
Now,
Is that microwave bacon?
no, this is no. I made this bacon on the stovetop, but
Oh my God.
I had 5 pieces. I have about 4 left, so I'll keep you up posted. But this is very exciting for Yeti and I because we have some exciting guests coming up and some bad internet. So this should be a total mess of an episode, Yeti.
Oh, let me tell you, like these. We're trying to work ahead so I can take some time off, and the universe is doing everything it can to work against me.
We're recording this episode weeks in advance, but it will take Yeti weeks to edit this episode. So it's going to be kind of a. But so Dad, I'm very excited. We have a bacon guy coming on soon. He's gonna battle Uncle Dick, the world's biggest bacon consumer. Uncle Dick, you were just telling me you've had bacon ice cream.
Yes. Been a while, but I've had it.
And have you ever salted your bacon?
Yes, I love salted and pepper, actually.
So that's what we're dealing with here, folks. We are talking about a bacon connoisseur. And so we have bacon guy versus Uncle Dick coming up very shortly. And then we talk to a hitchhiker, Dad.
Yeah, a hitchhiker who has used his thumb to travel the world. He lives in Barcelona now. He's a Canadian guy. He's hitchhiked everywhere. And we also talked to a mailman. We all love mail.
Wow.
This is Greg Cote, fan of the people.
Fan of the people.
And I'm just going to be eating bacon. So let's do this.
Okay, so let's do it. Austin.
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, Greg. Good to see you. Chris?
It's great to be seen. Yes, and my brother, the famous Uncle Dick, is joining us today because he is the world's, I don't want to say the world, I'm exaggerating here. He is America's biggest bacon consumer. So we had to have him on.
Go ahead, Uncle Dick.
That's right.
Yeah, I say I love my bacon.
I just want to introduce Austin Isaacs. He's the Bacon King. I don't know whether that's an official nickname or whether one I've just bestowed. But Austin, you represent Hormel in essentially promoting bacon, right? Like, how would you describe your job?
Yeah, so I work for Hormel Foods, and we're a branded food company. So not only do we have a bunch of our items on the retail side, so you might be familiar, right, with Skippy peanut butter. You might be familiar with Spam is Hormel, Planters peanuts. There's a bunch of different brands on that side. And then I work on the food service side. So food away from home. So I sell bacon into restaurants, college and universities, healthcare. And I sold for 5 years where I was actually out selling bacon. We have a bunch of different items underneath the food service portfolio too. And now I oversee the bacon and breakfast sausage portfolio. So my day to day is basically sales enablement for our sales team to go out and sell bacon and sausage. It's a pretty cool gig.
A bacon and sausage portfolio. How jealous. Like I'm rarely jealous of other jobs. And like, that's pretty freaking cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
This is so great. I would live in a house made of bacon if I could. I would just be worried that the wildlife and the critters would get to it and my house would be gone. But, you know, if I'm ever on death row and they say, what do you want for your last meal? I want nothing but bacon. I want a plate full of bacon that's about that high. Austin sent me some of his bacon. And I want to tell you something. It
was on the Levitard show earlier, like last week.
Yes.
It was that big. It was that tub of bacon that you got.
Yes. I want to show you right now. Hang on. Dick's
you can't lift that thing. You can't lift that thing.
Christopher tells me I don't exercise enough.
Yeah.
This is my new form of exercise.
Here we go. Let's see.
It is 10 pounds worth. 20 pounds maybe.
Oh, Look at that
Oh,
thing.
yeah, babe.
Dad, bring that thing in. Bring that thing in. Let us see. Get it close to the camera here. Oh yeah, look at that. That's that good stuff.
This is my exercise right here.
Yeah,
Now-
that's 10 pounds of bacon for you, Greg. You can put it right over your head.
It's
Now,
my bacon workout.
I'm curious first, just a little on your background. Now, are you a sales guy who found bacon, or are you like a bacon freak who like, I'm just going to sell it?
That's a great question. Hormel I found Hormel after school. So I'm from Iowa originally. And then I wanted to go into food sales, and Hormel was right there. And then when bacon came in, now I'm a bacon guy. So I'm extremely passionate about bacon, obviously in general, and then being able to do it on a day basis is pretty cool. But I went from selling to restaurants, and now I'm getting to see everything on the front end of how we make it, how we can continue to make our products as good as hopefully what you're eating right there, Chris. So
This is not your bacon. I'll admit my dad is hogging your bacon. So I have just my own bacon here, but I will get my hands on some of that bacon.
Yeah, if you're lucky. It may be gone by the time you get here.
Was that pork belly?
No, this is premium bacon.
It looked like a
these
big,
are
thick
giant
slab.
strips.
Yeah, so let me tell you what you got there, Greg, because so what I sent you to, you can't find that in stores either, right? So that's the stuff that you would find in restaurants, and it's our old smokehouse. That thing is smoked for hours, 12 hours, and it's hardwood smoked over actual chips, and it's thick cut. So hopefully you can see that there, but that's our best bacon. That's why I had to send you the best stuff, because this all started back in February when y'all were talking about it. And I'm like, I have to see if I can get on here to talk about bacon and see if I can get y'all some good stuff.
Now, since we're doing this episode and it's a bacon episode, I will do my bacon take, because as I love bacon, you see me here eating it. I love bacon, but I love bacon. I don't need bacon on every single thing in my life. Because bacon is such a dominating, delicious flavor that if you have a bacon on your sandwich, all of a sudden your burger or your turkey sandwich just becomes a bacon sandwich, which if I want a BLT, I'll order a BLT if I want a BLT. So it's just like all you people out there that say you have to put bacon in everything. And I want to hear from everyone here. I want to go to Uncle Dick first. Uncle Dick, I want you to tell me why I'm wrong here, but bacon only, it belongs at breakfast or a BLT. At breakfast or a BLT.
Breakfast or I kind of could eat them either way, breakfast or a BLT. But they say everything is better with bacon on it. I can't think of anything that is not better with bacon on it.
A burger. I would rather have a burger without bacon.
A hot dog. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you my son?
Sacrilege.
I mean, all you bacon, like you guys are just like, Dad, you were talking about the hockey cult, this bacon cult. Everyone's afraid to say, and this is like, I know we're having a bacon sales. Like, I don't want to offend. I love bacon. You should buy this delicious thick cut bacon that we have here, but it doesn't need to go on everything, folks. Go ahead. Now you can speak your piece.
Not everything.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I didn't mean you. I meant our guest.
Okay. Before Austin came on, Uncle Dick was admitting that, or not admitting, but bragging that he's had bacon with ice cream, which I think is fabulous. I want to try that. It sounds good to me. I love a BLT, but here's what I do. I order a BLT and I say, hold the lettuce and tomato.
Oh, you're
Give
dumb.
me triple the bacon. I want a bacon sandwich with a little mayonnaise. Okay? Bacon and mayonnaise are that's why I like bacon. I like a turkey club sandwich, because the bacon, there's a hint of bacon there, but it's just delicious.
It's just a bacon sandwich.
Austin,
Austin, chime in here. Yeah.
I wish we could trade jobs, Austin and I.
Let me ask you a question, Austin. Am I the only guy that puts salt and pepper on his bacon?
So are you saying you put more salt on your bacon, right? Is that what you're saying?
I would say bacon and a little pepper also.
If you do it that way, now here's the actual tip though for a BLT. I don't blame you for doing that, but for a BLT, to make it even better, is if you got to season your tomatoes first. If you do tomato, you do a little bit of pepper and salt, then you go on with the lettuce and the bacon with like a nice bread. That's the ultimate key. But I don't blame you for putting a little bit more salt and pepper. I think you might be the only guy to do that, actually.
I honestly, I love a little salt and pepper on my tomato. Like, what a good
Yes.
call by you right there. It's so good.
I want to give people a tip.
I was
a
actually
life
talking about
hack.
just triple bacon.
I can't like this in like Yeti. I want to leave all this in of how bad our Zoom internets are right now, because this is like this is an all timer, and
Okay.
I'm so glad Austin is getting to like witness this, because like
Yeah,
this
pretty
is-
bad.
Hopefully it's not me. You can hear me okay.
No, yeah, it's Austin. You're great.
Yeah.
It's honestly
Okay,
the
I'm
host. It's the host of this bleeping show.
Austin.
No, I was speaking.
All right, I'm leaving.
Okay.
No, Uncle Dick's frozen.
Hormel for bacon recipes.
Uncle Dick, say that again. You're frozen. Say that again.
Okay, I was just asking if I can go to Hormel.com for bacon recipes,
Good.
bacon inspired recipes.
Yeah, Uncle Dick, if you go to hormelfoodservice.com, so hormelfoodservice.com, you can not only find like a bunch of different recipes with bacon, there's a bunch of different just recipes in general. So, but yes, you can go on there, and we have got a bunch of them on there for you. But like you said, I kind of like what Greg said. Just throw a triple bacon on a bunch of bread and eat it. I'm good with that.
Please.
I ate all my
Yeah,
bacon, by the way.
exactly.
I had 5 pieces here.
I can't
That's all.
say though, Chris, I'm not a little offended that you're eating a different piece of bacon in front of me right now.
I thought that, I mean, we're doing a bacon segment. I thought it would just be visually, like, if I had my dad's, like, I should have stolen some when it was at the studio. Like, I just let him, he got away with that cooler. And I don't like, maybe I don't know how much you put in there. You would have thought maybe it's like Greg Cote got a whole thing of cooler, like a whole cooler of bacon. Hey, everyone who want, my dad left with that entire thing of bacon.
I ain't giving that away. Levitard said on the air like 5 times, this is a lot of bacon. What he meant was, can I take some home? I ain't doing that.
You didn't even give
That
Dan
bacon was
some.
sent
Wow.
to me.
Wow.
No, I took home all of it.
Austin, I'm just wondering, what is the most popular kind of bacon? A regular thick slice,
Yeah.
So I'd say for us,
Applewood? What do
the-
you sell the most of?
yeah, the one that we sell the most of is Applewood for sure. Applewood is definitely the most popular. And then I would also say from like the premium standpoint, because there's different tiers here, right? The one that we sent to Greg and to Miami was our most premium Old Smokehouse. We do have some mid-tier and economy bacons, but across the board, it's a thick cut Applewood. It doesn't matter which tier it's in. That's the one that really sells the most. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever think of coming out with anything like the, what do they call it, cowboy bacon, chocolate bacon, anything along those lines?
It hasn't come out yet. I haven't seen anything like that. The technology is a little bit tough on that one. I will say, though, here's the thing, though. Not only do we have Applewood, because you think Applewood, you think hardwood. There's pecanwood smoked bacon. There's actually a cob smoked bacon that we make that is actually smoked with corn cobs. So they smoke really rich and hearty. It's like a really different, unique flavor. But chocolate bacon. See, here's the thing. I always say I'm in the salty business. I'm in the savory business. My heart specifically, like what I like, I'm in the sweets. Like my heart is in sweets. I love sweets, chocolate, sugar. So it's a good balance, I guess, is what I do on a day-to-day basis. But it's all preference.
Well, how do you like your bacon? Crispy? I like mine
That's
a little fat on it.
I was going
do
to
not like crispy bacon.
Wow.
So for me, how I like it, I always do the flop test. If I can hold it up and it doesn't flop, but it's not like completely where it's going to snap in half, but it just it can hold its own. That's how I like it. I don't like it burnt to a crisp though. I'd rather go under than over.
My uncle's a monster. You are the right person here. I love a crispy, obviously not burnt, but like a good crispy piece of bacon. My uncle Dick he's the guy like on these steaks, like he's searching out these like gigantic pieces of fat.
Oh yeah, that's the way to go.
No.
Same thing with a bacon. I like it floppy. You know, or it's still got like half of it is still fat.
I bet you I cook my bacon twice as long as you.
That's fantastic.
He's got some floppy bacon. I'll tell you that much.
No, you can't have floppy bacon. I agree with Austin. You have to hold it at the end and it has to be straight out like that, but it can't be super crispy. It has to have a little chew to it, a little bit of chew.
Now, does it does the thickness of the bacon like affect how crispy I can get it? Like, do I want a non-thick cut of bacon if I like crispy bacon?
So you can get any bacon crispy. So if you do, and again, in the food service term, when we're talking like a 913 cut, which means you're getting 11 slices per pound versus an 1822, which is 20 slices per pound, which is pretty thin. You can get them crispy. It just takes longer. Right. I mean, even Greg's like 1317 Old Smokehouse that you have there, it's a 1317 cut. You can still get that just as crispy as an 1822. That's thinner.
But I'm just arguing, like, is it better bang for my buck? If I like crispy bacon, I should get the thinner cut one, so it's just like I get more pieces of bacon, right? Or
I guess that's fair, but here's the thing: you can actually add less pieces of bacon of a thicker cut because you actually get more of a hearty bite than some of the other 1822s that almost get lost in the shuffle at times.
Disintegrate in your mouth type thing.
Yeah, like if you want the actual meaty bite, I always recommend the thicker, but it's all preference. That's the nice thing is that if you like it different, that's no problem. It's cool. You can kind of go up and down the spectrum.
This is controversial in my house because I don't like pre-cooked bacon. Okay, I buy fresh bacon. I cook it myself. Is that a controversy within the bacon industry? Like people, I don't want pre-cooked bacon. I just don't.
Yep. So I'm so glad you asked that actually, because in the retail stores, if you go,
it doesn't sound like you are.
Yeah. Well, no, just traditionally, fully cooked bacon is not good, right? It's thin, it's paper thin. Raw normally is the way to go. And in stores, if you go to the store and buy it, I would go raw all day. Now on the food service side, some of the things that we do, we actually have an item called Bacon One it performs and tastes just like raw bacon. That's the product that, to be honest with you, I've never cooked raw bacon in my own household because I eat Bacon One, but you can only get that on the food service side. You can't find that in stores. So on the food service side, there are products out there like Bacon One and I would say probably the only one on the market that really is like raw bacon without all the hassle.
Man,
it's just, again, preference.
I mean, you're sounding a little like a bacon elitist right now. I'm not going to lie. Like, are you the guy like are you at like this sad diner and you like lift up a piece of bacon and you're like to your wife, you're like, you see this thing? See this thing? And you're like pointing to it. You're like, there's no curvature here. You see this? This bacon did not grow up happy. You see the curvature here? You see the curvature on this? See where the spine is turning this way? This is a sad piece of bacon.
My wife is going to be listening to this, right? And I've made her a bacon snob because we'll go out to a spot and she'll be like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah.
So there are good and bad bacons out there, right? There is bad bacon out there.
Do you order your bacon? Like when you get a side of bacon, you're like, I'll take it. I would like it this crispy. Like you're like, I want it a certain way.
That. No, I'm not that disrespectful. That person I don't like.
Do you ever walk into a restaurant and just throw a slab of your bacon on there and you're like, here you go. I'll take this on my plate and then you can do the rest of what you want.
I've never done that. That would be a bold move though, to do that. I haven't done that though, but I've made my wife and myself almost question sometimes when we go out and have bacon on like a sandwich or center of plate.
Yeah.
And she'll look at me and she goes, do you like it? And I'm like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or I can't say that I don't do that at times or else I'd be lying to you.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you for not lying to us.
Okay.
Thank you for not lying.
I like microwave bacon. Am I disrespecting the bacon?
Well, the microwave stuff, actually, because Hormel, like we make the black label microwave, like ready bacon. That stuff is really good, right? If it's like raw, that can cook in, so much time in the microwave. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, and the cooked stuff, the cooked product is more just out of convenience, right? Where, especially in the retail side, it's more just easy to cook up and then put on a sandwich right away without having to deal with all the mess.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen wrapped in bacon?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Come on. I teed one up for you pretty easy right there, I thought.
Actually, what I've done before is I've actually taken a rib. Okay. I've actually taken a rib.
Yeah.
I've wrapped it in bacon and deep fried it. And then I've done that. That is unbelievable.
Uncle Dick, let's go. Beat that. I bet you've wrapped
I bet
bacon.
he's done some wild things.
Yeah.
I've done a bacon bomb. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Go on. I'm listening.
Well, you get a Jimmy Dean sausage roll and you roll it out flat and and it's, maybe 6 inches by 10 inches, and you put your veggies on top, and you roll it tightly, and then you wrap it on a lattice work of bacon with some barbecue sauce on it, and it's fantastic.
It sounds awesome. I mean, I think you were talking about that one in another episode too. I think that's another reason why I called in and said I need to talk to y'all because of that.
Wow. I like bacon wrapped asparagus. I will say that it's excellent, but oven baked bacon is the best bacon. It's better than microwave. It's better than pan fried. If you oven bake it at 400 or depending on the thickness for like 10, 12 minutes, check it until your personal doneness, but it lays flat. It doesn't curl up. It's my life hack. If you love bacon as we do, try it oven baked. It's fantastic. And here's another thing I like to do. I like to occasionally sprinkle the bacon like halfway through the cooking process. Sprinkle it with just a little dust of brown sugar and maybe a little bit of crushed red pepper. You get that sweet and heat. Oh my God.
Candy bacon is elite. Yeah. Brown sugar and a little sriracha sauce, do a little sweet spicy with it too, is unreal. Yeah.
The breakfast spot near me does a bacon, like a billionaire's bacon type thing like that. That's delish.
Yeah.
Okay, Austin, we're going to let you go in a minute, but I have a question because you mentioned earlier eating bacon in restaurants, etc. When you're eating a piece of bacon, you can't tell whether it's Hormel or not, right? Like you don't. Your palate's not that fine-tuned, is it?
There are times where I can tell when it's not ours. How about that? I can tell when it's not ours, just in a couple of different reasons why, right? You can tell from how much smoke flavor there is, right? Because we use a blend of different smokes, how salty it is. If it's just a salt bomb, I can tell pretty quick that it's not ours, no matter what tier you're talking about. I haven't refined it that much. I've only been doing this for, the last, several years, but I can tell when I can get close, I would say.
Okay. Wow. How about that? Also, we're going to let you go. I want to thank you again and Hormel for the generous load of bacon that I received today. And it's going to be so great. People are going to be, Uncle Dick's going to be driving. We live 2 hours apart. He's going to be driving down at 100 miles an hour just to make sure he gets a big load of that bacon. Before
I'm getting some of that bacon.
Does bacon freeze well?
We'll see.
Does it freeze well? That's a good question.
It.
That's actually a good question. Does bacon freeze well?
You could freeze it. Yeah, no problem. I mean, like with that one, it came fresh, right? It didn't come frozen. It's a fresh product, but yeah, you can freeze it and it would be okay it would be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris, I need a review though from you though.
I'll give you a review.
I need a review on socials. I need that.
I might be. I'll if I remember, I'll try to eat your bacon the next episode and give you an on-air review.
That'd be great.
Yeah, Christopher should have lied and said it was Hormel bacon. He wasn't thinking that much ahead.
That's what I'm saying.
So he sort of blew that.
No, you're underestimating Austin. I bet you Austin could tell just by like me lifting it that it wasn't his bacon.
Okay.
Could you? Or did you were you unsure, Austin?
Looked a little thin for me though. Chris.
There we go.
Just kidding.
There you go. Of course.
Like that looked like about a 7.2 on the Richter scale. Or I don't know. It's just all right. Anyways, thanks, Austin.
All right. Austin, thank you very much. Thank Hormel. I can't wait to eat all this bacon.
Thanks, guys.
And I will eat all of it. I don't just mean this package. I mean all 4 packages.
You just essentially said I'm going to eat. So you just essentially said you're going to eat Austin's package.
All of it. All 4 of them.
What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, all 4 of his
bacon
packages.
I do find bacon sensual. Don't even get me started.
Now that would be a reason to have Austin on again if he had 4 packages.
Well, I don't want to get too personal.
Real quick, hey, I really appreciate you guys. Greg, I've been listening since you were in a closet during COVID, so I appreciate you. And I've listened to the Levitard show for 8 to 9 years now, so I appreciate y'all. Y'all are awesome. Appreciate it.
Dad, this is very exciting. It's a 3-part episode. It involves bacon, hitchhiking, and being a mailman. And we are 1/3 of the way through. So what's coming up next is hitchhiking. And this one, your internet, hopefully Yeti made this clean, because this was a difficult one. I'm sure that a lot of the sloppiness slipped through there because it was impossible for Yeti to fix it. So you're in for another rocky one, but it was a fun interview. This guy's hitchhiked over 250,000 miles, and he seems like a freak. I'm not going to lie. Dad, you agree with me, right? Like, we talked to this guy, and he seems like a guy I want to party with.
You know, not only that, but he's like my age. He's like 68.
Let's get to it.
You know, interesting dude. Yeah.
All the way from Barcelona, Dave the Hitchhiker.
Barcelona. Let's get to it.
We are speaking with the world famous hitchhiker, David Hendon. Wow. And David, I don't know whether you're world famous or not, but you definitely are a worldwide traveler when it comes to hitchhiking. So thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. I love the show.
Have you ever been interviewed for hitchhiking before?
No, actually, I haven't.
And so you've said you've done over a quarter million miles.
I would think so. I used to hitchhike every day for about 5 years or 10 years, back and forth to university. I've gone to Florida. I've gone back from Daytona Beach to Montreal. I've been to Montreal to Toronto countless times. Over the 5 years I lived there, I think I must have gone at least 150 or 200 times hitchhiking there.
Okay. And once I see here in my notes, you once hitchhiked from Daytona Beach, Florida, to Daytona Beach from Montreal. No. Is that possible?
I took the train from Montreal to Daytona Beach. Did a lot of partying on the train. And then when I got to Daytona, I was going down for the Montreal Expo spring training. I didn't realize there was something called spring break that existed there. So my money flew. Train ticket flew.
Okay.
Now, in this time, how common was this? Like, how were there other people doing similar things to you?
At that time, listen, hitchhiking was since 1970. Basically, hitchhiking was a way of life. I still do it from time to time here in Barcelona.
And so let's take me back to the peak of it though. Like when you were doing it every day, how often would you not be able to find a ride?
Never.
Really?
Sooner or later you find a ride. Maybe it'll take me 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes when I was out on the highway between Montreal and Toronto, but always made it to my destination.
So you just start walking with the thumb out and like eventually someone will stop.
Yeah, depending on where you are. Sometimes, in some cases, yes. But when you're on the highway, better to stay in an area with lights around it, like an on and off of an exit.
Now is this like getting in
David,
Okay, sorry, Dad. I just have a ton of questions. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm wondering, David, I think you and I are roughly the same age. How old are you, if I may ask?
68. So we are best really generation. That's why I love your show and your takes.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And so we're roughly the same age. And like you, my dabbling in hitchhiking came in the early 70s, I would say. And when I say dabble, I did it a few times. And back then, it was less out of necessity than it was more of a social thing, where you were hoping to, if you saw somebody coming by who looked like a hippie like you did, maybe you're thinking, he can share a little something with you from his, bag of tricks or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Always looking for some of that green stuff that can spark up, no problem.
That's why I'm wearing glasses. That's why I'm wearing glasses.
Go. That's an illegal smile going for you there.
And so what I'm wondering, David, is how this started for you, because it became something that was almost like a lifestyle. But what was the genesis of it? How did it begin?
Yeah, I guess it began because I needed to get from point A to point B, and it was too far to ride on my bike or whatever. So putting your time out was the easiest way, and people at that time would stop all the time to pick you up.
So
at least in Canada, I don't know how it was in the States. In Canada, where I'm from, in Montreal, no problem.
So give me an example of, name as many as you can think of. The most common, it was a few dollars. It was some weed. Like what other stuff?
There was never anything that I never, when I picked people up, I never asked for anything. And when I was picked up, nobody really ever asked me for anything. But if I had something, I was always willing to share.
So it's not like
a thing. Right? It was never money. It was basically always always pot or something, you know?
So pots, but it wasn't like maybe a
Yep.
6-pack or
No.
No. Okay. So just always just like it was like a spoken thing, like marijuana. Like if you got a little grass, we're good to go.
You get some pot. You say to the guy, you want to smoke a joint? The guy would
So it
say,
really
"Yeah,
wasn't
sure."
about the party then. It was really just getting point A to point B.
It was like Greg said in a way, it was social. When you got in the car with somebody, you can obviously judge looking at their age. If somebody like 75 years old picked me up when I'm 15, 16, I'm not going to offer to smoke a joint with them. Just going to engage in conversation about sports or something.
Right. That's
Okay. So there had to have been dangerous or awkward situations. It can't all have been a joyride, right?
No, I must say I've had very few awkward situations. A couple guys in raincoats or whatever, but if you're in the passenger seat, you say stop, pull over, whatever, and they generally do it because they don't want any problems, you know?
Yeah,
But
gotcha.
a dangerous situation, no, but picked up by a dangerous person, yes. When I was coming back from Daytona Beach, I was picked up by a couple who were on their way back to Massachusetts. He was going to turn himself in because he was wanted for armed robbery. He had robbed a pharmacy in Massachusetts, and they were hassling his family. And he said, if they pick me up in Florida or outside of my state, I'm going to get 16 years. So I go back, I get 8. I'm out in 3 for good behavior. And we had a great time going back. We spoke a lot about things. He'd come up to Montreal to buy crystal meth and things. And when we parted, like I didn't have any money, he said, just do me a favor. When you get home, mail to my mother some of that good Montreal hash, and she'll get it to me. And it happened. I did it. I sent it to him, and he sent me a letter saying,
Nice.
David, you're a man of your word.
Tell us, and I think I know the answer, which is why I'm asking. Tell us how you met your wife, your future wife.
Okay, this is something I posted. It was on a cold September 20th, 1981.
Wow.
I went back to Montreal every weekend to party because Montreal's party, Toronto's the good, you know. So I would go back to party every week with my friends. And my good friend, God rest his soul, Blair, said to me, he said, David, come meet me for a drink before you go. I said, Blair, I want to leave early. I want to leave around 10 o'clock in the morning because 6-hour drive. I always leave late, get back late. He said, no problem. So I met him at the place called Mailman's Lounge for a beer. And around 4 o'clock, I left in the afternoon. And as I was getting on the Trans-Canada Highway going back, there was this nice couple hitchhiking. And so I figured I would use somebody to talk to. So I picked up this guy and this girl who were a couple, and they happened to be from Barcelona. And I asked them to roll me a joint, and it was like really the worst joint I've ever seen in my life. They didn't know what they were doing, but I consider it probably a European
amateur,
joint, you know. And so, getting talking, I was at a company apartment in Toronto, and I said to them, "If you want, come stay with me, no problem." And they came to Toronto. They stayed with me for 3 weeks, and when they left, they split up. I kept in contact with my wife. You're probably not going to understand this, Chris. It's sending handwritten letters.
Oh, right.
General delivery in different cities. So I sent her in Philadelphia, in Atlanta, various places. She would pick up the letters and she would write back to me because she had my address.
Like you dip the pen in like ink before you write it?
Almost, yeah. Look at the
Yeah.
Okay. and you guys are still married all these years later, eh?
Yeah. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm in Barcelona.
You picked up a hitchhiker. Are they called hitchers? Hitchhikers? What do we call them? Hitchhikers?
Yeah, I call them hitchhikers.
Hitchhikers. So you pick up 2 hitchhikers and you steal the guy's girlfriend.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes, you know.
I love it.
Okay, so that explains. We're speaking to you. You're in Barcelona, which is 6 hours ahead of us. I was there for the 1992 Olympics.
Do this.
Gorgeous.
We're making him do this at 10 p.m.
Yeah, but that's not a problem. That's okay. I spoke with Yeti about this. I said he wanted to do it at midnight, but that was a little too late for me, you know?
Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is my recollection of Barcelona is that 10 p.m. is like dinner time.
Yeah,
I remember everyone ate very late.
I'm at my country place. I'm 68 now. If I'm in the city and I have visitors, then it's another story.
What is the last time you hitchhiked? How recently?
Probably a year ago. I did the train station.
It must be tougher nowadays to get a ride.
It is, but I've had some very interesting things. I was hitchhiking one day here in Barcelona, and near my country place, and this gentleman picked me up, and he had his son with him. and he told his son, "Listen, I stopped to pick you up because I wanted to show my son that this is a lost art that used to go on all the time in Spain and England."
That is true. If you try to explain hitchhiking to someone who's never done it or experienced it, they probably don't know what you're talking about, right? I mean, because it's such a bizarre thing.
I understand it because it's been made to be so dangerous, and maybe it is now. Maybe there's a lot more nutcases out there. But when I was doing it, it was more of a hippie social thing, and people were a lot more friendly back then. You know, I think anyway. Greg, one thing I wanted to say that you and I are very privileged to have lived in the 70s and the 80s, our primes. That was the best years in humanity for me, eh? For music, for everything.
I sort of agree with you, and I forget how it came up on the Levitard show, but when I mentioned, my brief experience with hitchhiking, you're right. It was a hippie thing. It was almost like a love-in. It was like a camaraderie thing where if you were hitchhiking and were picked up, or if you were the one with your thumb out and were picked up, or the one picking up the hitchhiker, it was like a community. You didn't worry about it. I remember my mother telling me, what if you pick up what if a serial killer picks you up? What if you're kidnapped? Back then, you didn't even consider that. It just wasn't even on the radar, right? Like, does your wife tell you, David, you're too old to hitchhike, quit doing it? I worry about you.
No. She doesn't think that at all. She knows me well enough. I know I can handle myself on the road.
Do you have I have a friend actually I have a friend who's very self-conscious, and he has playlists on his phone, and he has one when he has strangers or people that he doesn't know that well in his car. The playlist is called Mutually Agreeable. It's Chris Whittingham for the people. It's Chris Whittingham.
He has the soccer fan.
He has a playlist that he calls Mutually Agreeable. So what would be the music you would play that would be your mutually agreeable list? That's like, this is not going to offend anybody, this music.
Jimmy Buffett.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No one hates Jimmy.
I'm a huge Jimmy Buffett fan. I'm a huge Jimmy Buffett fan. Actually, I consider one line from the song Spider John is something I sort of gear myself to. A line goes, "She thought I was a saint, not a sinner gone astray."
I think, Dad, that me and you, Dad, should make a video series. We have to hitchhike up to Dan's house. It's Dan, right? I'm sorry. Did I get the name wrong? Yeah. Oh, David.
No,
David.
David.
Sorry, David. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Yeah.
It says D here.
Chris, just one thing, Chris. Right now, there's still no bridges across the Atlantic.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's right. That's right. I keep looking at that. This is what a bad minute for me. I called you Daniel, and I thought you were in Montreal. I thought you were living. I saw your Canadian shirt. So that's my bad. I screwed up.
That's what I thought. We're all of a sudden we're hitchhiking to Dan Lebitard's house. That's what I thought he meant. If we're hitchhiking to Barcelona, somebody's going to have to pick us up on a cruise ship or something. I don't know how would.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
I don't know how would do that.
I want to hitchhike, Dad. I want to do it with you. Me and you need to hitchhike somewhere.
Okay, we could do that.
I don't think you have a problem. I don't think you'd have a problem if you can find a place where it's legal.
I think that would be very weird, though, for a father-son team to be hitchhiking would be a little strange.
Make up a story, say that your car broke down about 3 miles back and you wanted to get someplace, you want to get into the town, whatever.
So but what are you dressed like what are you putting me and my dad in? If you're like our offensive coordinator, you're going to curate our, where should we go? Do you go near the highway? Do you go
you go get onto an on-ramp to a highway.
On-ramp to a highway? I feel like people would stop there because it's like, why is this person on an on-ramp to a highway?
Well, you're on an on-ramp because you're going that direction. And normally there's a place to pull over on the side and they can do it, not a problem.
So it's
true.
It's
There's
too
a lot
creepy.
of traffic generally getting onto the highway there.
So I don't want to be like at the McDonald's drive-through exit, like as cars are leaving, like, hey, heading to Boca? Nope, no. Okay, have a nice day. Hey, heading to Boca? I feel like that's creepy. That's too like...
No, you don't ask for a ride.
Okay, so it's more just say I need a ride and you let people stop. You don't like
you just put your thumb out. You just put your thumb out and hope for the good grace of humanity.
Okay,
we're gonna let you go in a minute, David. But what is your percentage of hitchhiking versus being the one who picks up other people hitchhiking? Like, is it a pretty even breakdown?
back in the day, it was probably like 70% hitchhiking, 30% picking up. When I was driving the company truck, for example, going to Montreal, I would pick up hitchhikers if I saw them on the road. But generally, I was the one doing the hitchhiking more.
Okay, and when you're in a car and you see thumbs out, is the rule of thumb, pun intended, is the rule of thumb that you'll pick up an individual, but not like 2 or 3 people?
I mean, he picked up 2 people. That's how he met his wife.
Depending on the room in the car, depending of the as well. If you're picking up 3 or 4 people, if you see 3 or 4 people hitchhiking, you got to look at the people carefully and see what you're doing. So that's a little more touch and go.
All right. Well, speaking of touch and go, David, it's time for all the softballs are done now. The kid gloves are coming off. How much sex was going on here? Like, how often was this like, hey, there's a woman here, she needs a ride? Like, you're more likely to pick up a woman, right?
Actually, the reverse.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. No, respect.
On more than one occasion.
Yeah. So like sometimes it's offered and you're just like not really into that. Sometimes it's offered and you're like, hey, okay, you seem nice. Like, it's one of those things where it's kind of like dating, where sometimes
you get in the conversation, see where it leads you, see where it takes you.
So it's happened, it's led there, but it's very like peaceful and
yeah. Nothing blunt unless that's the way it goes. But yeah.
So like obviously we're not going to kiss and tell, but there are some good stories here that we're leaving on the table if we're winking.
Yeah, and I got a lot of other kind of topics I could speak to you about. I'm in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, but that's for another day.
Go on.
No, it's for another day. Yeti told me not to go into too much because he's going to have to cut too much out. Maybe we could do it another day.
Wait a minute. Did you just say you're in the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Dad, that's for another day. Dad, that's for another day, Dad. Your internet's bad right now.
Well, David, you've led and are leading an interesting life. I'm glad we had you on. I have never talked to someone who has hitchhiked as often or as successfully as you have, and congratulations for that. By the way, I have to ask you this, because if we don't ask this, it almost seems like you've done nothing but hitchhike your whole life. Do you have a profession? Do you have an occupation that you do or did do?
Well, when I was living in Canada, I was the manager at 21. The Montreal office asked me to become the manager of the Toronto office.
Okay.
And now here in Barcelona, I work in television distribution.
Oh, nice.
We buy programs from abroad, localize them into the language here, and get them on television. I'm actually in Miami every year in January for the NAPI convention.
The Greg Cote show. It would crush in Barcelona.
Sure.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this
We're
video.
Big in Canada.
Look at this video product. Look at the timing me and my dad have with this internet connection today.
Impeccable. Impeccable.
David, I can promise you this. If I ever am out traveling and I see you hitchhiking, I will pick you up.
Thank you very much, Greg. And one last clarification for you, Greg. And you say many times that you say tira un pet for with your dog, right? When that does that, but that's actually Catalan, not French. It's a Catalan expression, not a French expression.
Really?
In Catalonia, in Catalan, we say tira un pet when you fart.
Really?
Okay.
So it's Catalan and not French. French is more pete.
The French were claiming it, David.
No, they're
That's true.
Everyone wants pet.
It's Catalan.
Everyone wants pet. People are fighting over pet.
Go to your Google Translate and put in fart and the Catalan and French and see what the different words come up.
You know what? I'm going to do that right now. As soon as we hang up, I'm going to go right there and we'll get it done.
Okay, guys, enjoy your day, your evening. I've got to take my dog for a walk and do a couple other chores here around the house.
All right, see ya.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, David.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I mean, wow. We've had a bacon guy. We've had a hitchhiker. Yeti, let's talk to a mailman. Bring him in.
Oh, greetings and salutations. Hello.
How you doing, Anthony?
Oh, Chris Cody's here. Oh, my goodness.
Anthony with our fastest internet so far. No delay on video, no delay on audio. He is here and ready to go.
Oh, Yeti, what's up, man?
Hey, man.
Now, Anthony, the reason we asked you on, and thank you for being here, is that this episode we've talked to a hitchhiker, we've talked to a bacon salesman, and This is called fan of the people, right? Is that what we're calling this?
Yes, Greg Cote, fan of the people.
I love when a host of a show
I'm a man of the people.
Says the name of the episode with a question mark. He's like, Yeti, this
Right.
is the fan of the people, right, Yeti? What is this?
Okay,
Hashtag
okay,
watch
because
agenda.
I'm a man of the people.
Just so you know,
Yeah, I'm a
Anthony,
fan of
we
the
are
people.
dealing with some awful Greg Cote internet, and I'm about
Gotcha.
to lose my mind. So if we break into a big argument
I
in the
know.
middle of this, I don't want you to take it personal. Me and my dad are
Right.
having a thing today, so I just want to set the table with that.
You know, it's so funny that you say that, Chris, because I think often whenever I watch you guys and you guys have your back and forths
Oh no.
and things along those lines, I think of the times that I get into it with my own dad, and yeah, I
And
empathize.
I'm an asshole. I know I'm an asshole.
No, I
can
empathize
say
and
it.
I sympathize, but I think the only thing that I'll say is, as far as Greg is concerned, I would say out of anybody, any personality media wise, and it's kind of scary for me to say this, and I've told Greg this before, I identify with him in a way that kind of scares me, but also I accept.
Considering
It
you
should
still
scare you.
haven't hit your 40th birthday yet. Did you just hit
My-
39?
My dad,
I hit 39 in September.
my dad
Okay.
will respond to that emotional thing you just said in about 3 minutes. So that was very touching.
Okay, am I in real time right now? Can you hear me?
I
As
sure
you're
can.
hearing me, how
Yeah.
does this work?
I sure
Okay,
can.
that's
Greg.
good.
Yes.
Thank you, Anthony, for those kind words. Now, I want you to tell me about being a mailman. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, are you the guy in uniform out in the streets, or are you the guy at the postal office
Yeah.
dealing with customers who walk in?
And there's a
what
right
kind of
answer here.
mailman
And
are
there's a
you?
right answer here.
Yes, I am a letter carrier. I'm out in these streets
That's
every day.
the right answer. That's what we like.
Yes, I'm out in these streets. These streets have been hot recently. So
Mm.
Monday was not a very nice day. Was not something that I enjoyed, but it's part of the deal. Been doing it now for, how do we say, 13 years. So
Okay.
you know,
What's
you
the-
do the best you can.
What's the routine in the hottest day of the summer? Like, we need how many Gatorades? Like, what gets you through the day of the route with all in this heat?
So ironically, like you mentioned Gatorades, when I first started doing the job, I
Yeah.
leaned on Gatorades very
Yeah.
heavy. And what I found out is, like, just from a sugary standpoint,
Yeah.
it's a killer. It actually in some ways drains you faster, even though
Yeah.
it cools you down. Like, the goal is to keep as much cold water as you have possible. Things I've been looking up is fruits recently as I've gotten older, and and things start changing and how you digest stuff and how you deal with stuff. Like, it's been fruits, eating oatmeal in the morning, stuff along those lines, keep your energy up and not keep you as hungry. And also, like, controlling your water intake, because at times you could become bloated, and therefore that kind of affects what you're trying to do out on the street. And I think the other piece of that, which I think it's a misconception about our job and what we do, and that we're lazy and all of this other stuff, because we hear this stuff all the time.
Really?
And
Who says that?
I think generally what you find is generally people, like, I will read Yelp reviews, which tend to happen at postal stations, and you'd be surprised to hear the things that they say, and the people who come to the window, and the stories that we hear from the clerks and what they say about us when it comes to whether packages or certified letters and things of that nature. So yeah.
Now, this could be like one thing. This could be three things. This could be a top five. Like, like a message to the people of, like, hey, this annoys the shit out of us when you do this. Hey, common folk, you think we like this? No, you're an idiot. Do it this way. Like, what are the people getting wrong most often?
I believe it's small talk. I think there is a way to have a conversation.
Oh no. Yeah.
And me as a conversationalist, and it's something that I really do try and stress to folks, as I do often, is I think is it hot enough for you in 100-degree weather is nuts.
No.
Oh, is it cold enough for you? Are you try and stay warm in 10-degree weather? I just think
I don't need your weather banter. Okay.
Yeah, that's a killer, man. And then the one that kills me the most is no bills.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I hate that. Oh man, I have never said that to my letter carrier. By the way, I referred to you as a mailman. You referred to yourself as a letter carrier. Is there a difference there? Like, do you prefer one or the other?
I think you could call me either or. I just go by what my position is titled. So
okay. Now I have to cut right to the chase here.
I feel like he was
This is
just being nice there,
to
and he
me,
doesn't. I feel like he doesn't like mailman. I'm just gonna read the room.
I love Greg, so he can't upset me. Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, there you go. Okay, all right. The mailman, the mail person,
the letter carrier,
the U.S. Postal Service. Yes,
Yes.
You guys used to have the lane all to yourself. Okay, if a package was delivered, it was from you guys. Now it's Amazon, it's FedEx, it's this and that. The lane is not yours anymore. What is the rivalry there? Because if I did your line of work, I'm vandalizing the Prime delivery truck. I'm vandalizing the Amazon truck.
And then you're fired.
Because they're mine. They're a rival of. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think the thing that I would say, the truth of the matter is, especially when it comes to UPS, is they are our friends and brothers because they are Teamsters. They're part of a union, just as we're part of a union.
Yep.
So there is a healthy respect, at least in my opinion. I can't speak for everybody, but for me, there's a healthy respect that I have for their line of work too. Granted, it's changed a lot of things in terms of the job circuit and things that have gone on in the past few years, and changed it for more so, I would say, for the temporary carriers who have been hired in their line of work in terms of hours. But as far as somebody like me who's permanent, it hasn't really affected me to that degree. Though, I mean, just like anything else, the mail being reduced over the past few years has been a big part of the conversation, and why a lot of the stuff upstairs in the government is going on, and why we've kind of had to mobilize over the past few months and be out in the streets, not only protesting, but stating our cause and our case for why the mail shouldn't be privatized.
A couple of quick questions.
Please.
First of all, the threat of dogs in your line of work, real or overblown?
Yeah, the great question, Dad. I didn't think of this. I forgot about this.
I think it is real because of the fact that I think people are more inclined nowadays to not have their dogs on leashes. What I find is, and the thing it can be very irritating because everybody says the same thing. Oh, don't worry, they don't bite. But every time they see us, they go nuts.
Yeah.
Every time. And it's not just, there's a few, because I have this funny little thing. And as when I start my route, I pass by this house with a big gate, and there's a big dog. And every dog I call Rufus, and every cat I call Whiskers. So I walk by our Rufus as I'm starting my route, and he's just chilling. He's actually one of the few that don't like bark crazy. But for the most part, a lot of people these days, I don't know, they treat dogs like they're people. And I just don't feel like that's a thing to do, especially with us. I remember this one time, this happened, let me say it was within my first year of the job. So let's say like 2013. And I was across the street, and there's this dog, a 3-legged dog, by the way, sees me across the street, and he gets off. The person's walking said 3-legged dog. The 3-legged dog is hopping at me with the teeth gnarled and the fangs out. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening here? So, fortunately, the person ran across the street and got the dog. But this was just a reminder of what situations could turn into.
This is a very stereotypical thing, but like your body language changed when we brought up the dogs. Yeah, like this is a real thing.
How many houses do you hit in a day, or how many places do you deliver to in a day, and how do you think that compares from a concentration standpoint? Because you're in Brooklyn, you're going to be able to hit more houses than like my hometown of Mayberry.
Well, so ironically, I live in Brooklyn, but I deliver in Queens. So, so with Queens, like I approximately, if we go by stops, I want to say it's like 800 plus, like in that.
Wow.
Some of them are, a lot of where I'm at now has big apartment buildings, condominiums, and stuff like that. So that takes up part of it where there's a bunch of people in said condominium. So in terms of the concentration, I think that's a great question because I think that's something that people forget, especially when they start working at the post office. I've trained a bunch of people, and I think the most common thing that happens to people who start, it happened to me too, is you forget, like you think you have your packages in order when you start, but then you will go to an address and you'll be like, oh wait, I missed something like 3 stops back. And then you go back and deliver it. But then it happens a couple of times. And then we're a time-oriented business. So those things add up after a while. So you have to get that part right within your first 90 days to, make sure that you keep your job.
How do you feel about? Are you judgmental about the mail you deliver? Because if I were in your job, I would be very judgmental. I get most of the mail delivered to me is the pamphlets, the flyers and everything. They go right in the garbage, and I would be thinking as I'm delivering that, like these people are getting some lousy mail today. There's nothing in here. Nobody writes a handwritten letter anymore.
Or if it's just like I have this entire stack here, not that you're looking at it, but it's just like this is all fluff. Like this is pointless. Right. All of this is going to go in the garbage.
There are common conversations about that. I think the funny thing, especially specifically like a time like now, we have the current mayoral election going on in New York City. So there are those very thin. If you don't wear gloves, they will paper cut you flyers for every politician, either running for mayor or in some cases with one of the mayoral candidates trying to say, do not vote for this man at all. And it's just a ton of them. And that's currently what's happening. So yeah, there's a lot of that. And in terms of pamphlets, there are just certain things, but go ahead, Chris.
No. That was to them. I hate when guests, I was not trying to stop you there. That's for me. Okay. That's for slow internet over here to know I'm next. That's what that was for. Okay. But I'm sorry for cutting you off. What I was going to ask though is, the route, like you're like, as you've said, like you've been there a while. You're like of the letter carriers, like the hierarchy of the routes. What are the good routes to have? Do you want like a lot of commercial businesses? Do you want the neighborhoods? Do you want more suburban in the city? Which borough of New York is the good borough? Like how does that go?
I mean, to me, to me, Queens has been great. I've grown up in Queens and lived there all my life until I got married. And, I've just loved the area. Yeah. It's a little different to folks from other boroughs because they'll come and look at the numbers and say this looks kind of funky. This looks a little different. But to me, in a lot of ways, it's always going to be the number one home to a degree. So I've always felt that, in terms of like what I look for to answer your question as far as like the routes and stuff like that. These days, as I get older and the knees get a little achier and everything gets a little creakier. In fact, like I had bone spurs in my ankle at the end of last year. So hashtag watch the agenda. I know Yeti's laughing.
That's the only reason I'm laughing. There's nothing funny about it. But Anthony, I know Anthony, this is his thing. Go for it. Bone spurs.
Yeah. So, with stuff like that, with certain injuries like that, I had a thoracic back sprain last year, jumping on a trampoline at my son's birthday party.
So you're looking for a route where you don't have to get out of the car.
Well, no, not even. Like, if I could have I have a good amount of buildings where I just walk in and just use a key, put it bum, and just do that. Yeah. That's much more of a preference.
But like, is there a route out there that Johnson has that you're like, once Johnson leaves, I want that freaking route because that route looks like it's awesome.
I think.
Who gives out the routes? Like, can you say to your boss, like, I'd really like to do this route next time it's available?
Well, I love that you say that. So with this, there is what you call a bidding system. Yes. So each month, if a route is available, if a carrier retires, we've had a couple of carriers retire over the past few months, then a route comes up for bid after about a month or so.
We're looking at a couple of routes, huh? We're looking.
No, actually, because I had just been out from one station in Queens to another, and went to this new station now back in September. So I'm at a good spot. I like where I am currently, but to your point,
that's interesting how that works.
But see, people got their eye on your bone spurs, and they're like, just wait. Yeah. Just wait. One more back spasm,
you guys
and that
see
route
Anthony?
is ours.
He's got bone spurs again. Maybe we're a couple ways from getting that route.
No, there's folks.
They're talking about you. Yeah.
There's folks. There's folks for sure. Like there's a gentleman who worked for 30 plus years who just retired 2 months ago, and his route is all buildings. Everything is building, so you don't have to go up no stairs at all. Yeah. So that's the type of thing that,
what's the worst route? What's the worst route? Like a building where you how many buildings of going upstairs? Like what does the worst route look like?
I mean, I'll give you a great example. Like, so in College Point, Queens, which was the previous station I was at before I came to where I am now, that there is this one route where the stairs everywhere are just essentially monstrous. And there's a block with a very humongous hill that you go all the way down, and then you come all the way up. You're like, it feels like you're on an incline. It feels like you're doing one of those sand beach runs.
Maybe you get in good shape, I guess.
You get in good shape, but I'll tell you, Chris, the toll that this job takes was something that it's something that people don't consider. I think it's one of those things that I didn't realize myself until the last 2 years, where it's like, oh, I can't power through this the way I used to at 27. I'm going to have to take my time here. I'm going to have to just, gauge it out and make sure I'm a little bit more prepared.
So, Anthony, I have a question here because I know this phrase from your line of work. I know the phrase. I've loved it because it sounds like the title of a horror movie. I love that. I'm not sure if it's true. What is it? The dead letter office.
The dead letter office?
What the hell are you talking about?
Do you not know about the dead letter office?
I know not nor sleet nor snow and all that other crap.
Good punctuation, Dad. Good job.
No, I fed him this. The dead letter office. It's an REM album, which made me look it up. But it's supposed to be where when they can't find a home.
You talking about the IAs, the undetermined address stuff?
Yeah, apparently everything goes to this place called the dead letter office.
So all right. All I'm gonna just say about that, and I can't say too much about that because obviously, Greg, you have a popular podcast, and I'm under a union contract, and just in case they say something, just in case somebody sees something or say something, but I'll just say this: that dead letter office, it's dead. Is what I'll say. And I'll leave it at that.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, now I need Pablo Torre to find out what happened, is what I need.
Do you feel good about this? We should start a podcast, Greg Cote Finds Out. We should do a Greg Cote Finds Out
This
podcast.
is a mystery. What did the dead letter office used to be? What was in there? I don't know.
Whatever.
Now
we're not talking.
Find out.
I think we should cut all of this. This is just a disaster, Yeti.
Okay.
I love when Yeti feeds my dad something and it just poops.
I was interested.
I'm so sorry I could not deliver on that one for you, Greg. But yeah, that one, if I went into it further, it's a little bit of a source of contention in the office for us for a lot of different reasons. But I'll relent on that one.
He gave us the dog take. Okay. All right, that's enough. He's done plenty.
Well, let's get Anthony out of here. But before we do, you can find Anthony on the Marvel Cinematic University podcast. Greg has been a guest on there before.
Yes,
I love the show. That's how I got to know Anthony and his co-host Jake Christie. But Greg has been a guest on that show before, and Anthony delivered him a poem. And I hear that you may have something else for him today.
Yeah, I said there is absolutely no way that I could come on the Greg Cote show with Greg Cote and not write something for him, because I love this man. I identify with this man in so many different ways that I felt like I had to write something. So here goes. Let me just clear the throat and say, an experience like no other on the Greg Cote show, from learning dad jokes to you never know. impeccably produced by Yeti. I feel like the show gets me, and it's never regrettably. That's how it's supposed to be. No herbs in this group. Greg Cote got the soup in the scoop. Chris might think Craig's a curmudgeon. That take is locked in a dungeon. But we love you anyway, Chris. It's just a part of the list. That gives this show personality. Easy listening is a reality. And there's always so much to say, even as we wait on the back in my day. The Greg Cote Show is a perfect gift. Ayo, Levitard. It's not featuring, it's with.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
Perfect
great.
Punctuation.
That was really good.
I love my dad's like
That's
4
perfect.
seconds too late.
Cheers. Cheers.
that was
Love
awesome.
you,
I
Greg.
can only do what I can do.
AC, thank you.
Oh, of course. Always. Love you guys. Continued success. All that good stuff. Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeti,
Thank
good job. Good job producing the show, Yeti.
Yes. Chris's chopped liver.
All right, let me find my way out of here and let y'all finish. Have a good one.
Thanks,
All right,
Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony.
All right,
All right.
take care, guys.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
So should we close it now?
I'll see you in 4 weeks when this episode is finished editing.
This was meant to be an episode to make Yeti's life easier. It has done the opposite of that. And
Yes.
I think we might have peaked at the end, guys. Anthony was awesome. What a fun episode.
He was good.
Wow, just
Hey,
good.
everyone have a great 4th of July. Please be safe.
Yes. Dad, we are going to be on a boat in the Keys. Not on a cruise.
Yes.
Not on a cruise for once.
Right. On a rented boat.
And not on the beach. Stay tuned, though, for next week. 7 versus 70, the Cote Family Olympics. The Cote Family Olympics returns.
We have already started filming, and it is a doozy.
Close us out, Greg.
He'll respond
I
in a
don't know
month with his internet. Go ahead, Dad. Greg, take us home. Do your thing where you say pod family. Do your thing where you say pod family, and then thanks. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Shut up for a minute and let me speak. I can't help that my internet's bad. Thank you, the Hitchhiker, the Bacon Guy, the Mailman. Everybody was fantastic. I'm
Letter
a man of the
carrier.
people. I'm a fan of the people. Whatever. Letter carrier, Mailman. Come on, letter carrier. Come on.
And Uncle
Anyway.
Dick. Thank you, Uncle Dick.
Yeah, Uncle Dick.
Yes, a
His
cameo
internet.
by
How
Uncle
about that
Dick.
internet? That internet was good.
I'm telling you what. Nobody interrupted me more than Uncle Dick trying to get a word in edgewise on the Bacon Guy. It's like as bad as a Levitard show. I got to rent time on my own podcast to get a word in edgewise. All right, listen. Thank you, Pod Family.
There we go.
Yes, and I do say Pod Family every week. I appreciate you all. Thanks for listening. Weird episode. Totally different kind of episode. Hope you enjoyed it. See you all next week when I kick the ass of my granddaughter.